You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. So, greetings everyone who is joining us on this spatial memorial or remembrance, or what you want to call it, a gathering and a meeting where we commemorate, just like our culture tells us, when an elder transit or travel to the land of the unknown. That's what, they used to tell us in the village, but now we know it's not the land of the unknown. There are ceremonies and rituals that are put together. It means, as a matter of fact, like the Queen Mother that transited into the land of the ancestors, everything stops. Everything is at a pause until we celebrate their lives, until certain rituals are being made, until incantations and libations and everything and prayers, whatever you want to name it, are being poured, are being respected, and this life is being recalled into our memories that will live to be. On the Pan-African Daily TV, we have been on a non-stop go slow mode. So we react according to the messages and how we've been learning our cultures. For instance, the whole of last week, we had a couple of shows that we had to cancel because of the passing away of Baba Heru. And because of that, we paused every activity. And exactly the same situation happened to us again, 2 days ago, when the Queen Mother ASSATA SHAKUR also transited to join the ancestors. And so we paused everything. So on the Pan-African Daily TV, we are not just going to jump on shows, to do things, to promote, to expose, to make some noise, but we're going to follow according to the lead of the spirit of our ancestors. And so I get a lot of feedback. Why are you not coming live today? Oh, we planned this and that. No, and I keep saying those days are gone. We're going to go back to what we have been taught and what we know up to now. If an ancestor, an elder, or one of us is not, particularly those that have put on their lives and they move to the land of their ancestors, everything has to hush. Be it in your private life, be it in your daily activities, even the way you are going to speak during that week, even the rituals, even the way you eat. In those days in the villages, people would not have a bath for 3 days. I think Professor Bayyinah would actually go to, explain some of these steps to us. When one of us transit, what do we do? What does that mean? What does that energy that used to be with us, what is the impact of that in the afterworld? What do we believe in? What does voodoo teaches us? What does our culture, not indigenous, I stop using the word indigenous, what does our culture tells us? So please welcome with me tonight, Professor Bayyinah. And I want to thank you, Queen Mother Bayyinah, for actually it's not something that we even spoke about, but I remember I woke you up, didn't even wake you up. I sent you a message really in your nighttime out there, and you just got up and you responded. You never thought about it. You said every other thing has to wait, and I'll be there. So we want to truly appreciate you because you're role molding us. You're teaching us exactly when something happens that is of essence to our life, particularly all of us are going to go through that. And when we all depart, who is going to be there to call the people to other and to teach and to continue to share this? So thank you and welcome, Queen Mother. And we want to talk today about there's a lot of things, Professor Bayyinah, in this. I mean, like I call it this September is something of extraordinary. I don't know whether you feel the same way, but I love your purple. I love your combination because I know you. When you put colors, they speak to us. It's not just a show, it's not just a decoration. Even the colors that you put on, from what I know as your as I'm learning from you, has every single meaning, and you're even authorized to put on what at what time. So you're so conscious in even the things, the words, the stuff that you teach is by sight, is by spirit, is by everything. So we want to welcome you here tonight on the spatial ceremony, two of our elders, and I think more. We're talking about the two we know, but we in our families, in our villages, in our communities, everywhere, a lot have journeyed home, whether even as we're speaking right now. So we're happy to share this memorial with you and this passage with you. Welcome. And over to you, Professor.
Thank you, Jumbo, Lone, Alafia, Sanu, everyone, everywhere. We greet you. Especially, we greet first of all those who have transitioned and are no longer in the flesh, but we know that they are always present and they have priority over those of us who are still in the flesh. So that is why we greet them first. And even when a baby transitions, the baby becomes an ancestor. So the baby, we think of the baby as, the 4 year old or the 10-year old. But in reality, once you transition, then you have a whole different set of knowledge and set of duties that makes you an ancestor. So thank you for having me. Greetings to all of you who are present in the flesh with us here. Thank you for joining us. And whenever I receive any information about anyone transiting, the first thing I do is to get some water.
Mhm.
Water is the connector of life and the connector of all life form. So we have the water, and then we also set the fire. So when we have those two items, which are continuous in all life forms, those are the key items to greet any life form anywhere in any realm that they may be. Of course, you will then speak the person's name and then address them in the way that you wish. So, uh, and well, the particular person we're talking about today is a sister ASSATA Olukbala Shakur. And this is a warrior woman from a very young age. She stood up for justice. She identified racism. And 1960s, 1970s, racism was open and obvious everywhere in every situation. And so she had to face these things. I don't know if this is me getting do you get a sound back, a sound from here? Are we, or
Yes,
is,
ma'am. But just
okay,
very light, but it's I can
okay,
say very insignificant, but yes,
right.
it there is some background noise.
Let me, let me just pause and ask if we can lower, if the volume can be lowered.
Thank you
Uh,
very much.
You're very welcome.
All right. She's going to be right back. And same thing happened when we had Professor James Small right here. Do you remember? All of you who watched the last episode on the new era of Pan African Daily TV season 2, as we had Professor James Small, exactly the noises in the background came, and he had to also leave us in the studio, go to fix that noise. These are all signs and symbols. While we are in the real space and time, all those things happen. And when they happen once or twice, it is not a coincidence anymore. These are messages speaking to us, whether it's about disturbances or just trying to interrupt or trying to bust up in our spaces. But they keep occurring each time. And we must pay attention to the details. They say the taste of the cake is in the details. So, yes, I want to continue to welcome all of you that are joining us here. I didn't even have time to check at my chart. All right. Thank you, all of you that are here. I see you barely, but I think we're going to give you a shout out after this because this is very important. Okay, the Queen Mother is right back.
Thank you. Right. So we were talking about ASSATA Shakur. And in this world, they always talk when somebody transitioned, they start telling you, oh, yeah, on this day she was born, this. Very limited information. So I took the time this morning to write in our own way, in our own sense, how I perceive the bio of this fabulous woman, a woman who went through a lot, who was harassed everywhere, in newspapers, in television, arrested, charged with all kinds of charges. But you know how people have the means, they can create whatever charges they want. So I want to take the time and read for you certain parts of the bio that I have. Oh, today is our day for something else. Is okay. So here's how I would write her biography. Biographies always begin in the cosmos for us, way before any birth date, even prior to the birth of great grandparents. Lulu Johnson was whom our girl called Mama, and Charles Johnson she referred to as Daddy. These two would later bear the biographical titles of paternal grandparents. Lulu and Charles were graced with Doris Johnson, that our girl called Auntie. Doris later met with Frank Jones, and that relationship brought our girl into the world. 2 days before the new moon, everything that's going on in our cosmos is important at the moment of our birth as well as at the moment of our transition. So, ASSATA comes into this world on July 16, 1947, under the name Joanne Deborah Byron. From her autobiography, it became clear that she was primarily raised by Mama and Daddy, which are her maternal grandparents. So, when we look at, oops, did I lose? Where is my, here, maybe? Yes, okay. So when we look at, when we look at the biography of our sister, how do I put this thing back in full screen.
Okay. Do
Anyway, when we look at her biography, we see that uh, she was raised by her grandparents, her maternal grandparents,
Mhm.
and they took all her. That's what brought her. That's what brought her into who she was. Now, in the world, when she went to school, when she went to high school, she had to face racism all over. And everywhere she went, she had to deal with systemic racism. And even though we may look at it as something not so positive, actually it is, because that made her who she was. She learned how to fight. She learned how to defend herself. She learned how to reshape her mindset.
yes.
And eventually, she joined the Black Panther Party. She joined the Black Liberation Army. Some of us in those days were afraid to even say those words. Forget about joining. And this young lady was not afraid, and she joined. And these two groups also have what we will read about them is not truly who they are and what they do. For example, the Black Panther Party had a Feed the Children program. They weren't just about carrying guns and, they weren't going about shooting people. They were taking care of the community, but they were armed and ready to defend the community if anybody attacked the community. So that's a totally different way than whereas the way media generally present any black structure that talk of self-defense,
Mm.
they make us the monsters. But it is to protect our people from monsters that we create self-defense groups. So anyway, um, she joined she joined those different groups. She participated, and eventually there was a situation in New Jersey on the New Jersey Turnpike. I believe May 1973, where 71 rather, where there was whatever happened. I wasn't there, but whatever happened is in the end, she's arrested. She was shot, wounded very seriously. And when she came out of it all, she's arrested. She's charged. Two people are dead on that scene. One of her comrades from the Liberation Army or the Black Panther Party, and a state trooper. Now, if in each camp, my logic tells me, if there was any shooting and in each camp there is a dead, then I don't see how we could blame everyone that didn't die as the guilty for the one dead on the other side. But anyway, so she is charged with killing this particular person, this trooper. But when we look at all the weapons and the numerous people that were in the other camp, and the three of them on the other side, we find it very difficult to believe that situation. But anyway, there was a trial. She was accused of many things. Some of them, she was the trial. She was not. She was freed from that, and but for the trooper, she was charged and sentenced to life imprisonment. And ultimately, she does find a way. She's one of the few and rare Black revolutionaries who find a way to find her way out of the prison, of the US prison, and out of the country and find safety somewhere, eventually in Cuba. So, and that's where she lived the rest of her life. But part of her life, she also had the one person that was her partner and with whom she had a child. And so we present, while we speak about her, we do present our condolences, our sympathies to every member of her family, those who had to change their name and go secret after the situation, those who had to pretend never to know her after the situation, those who had to not keep any ties with her, to everyone who was connected to her by blood, by sentiments, by relationship. We present our sympathies to all of them. And we do hope that, no, we affirm that nature, the universe, has found ways to enable her child, she did have a child, and her lineage to carry on. We don't care to repeat their names because we know we have many enemies and they never give up on trying to destroy us. So, the sister fought for all these years. It's worth it to read her autobiography, ASSATA Shakur, an
Mhm.
autobiography. It's worth it to read it because that's the only the only place where we will find her point of view.
True.
Everything we will read in the media, on the Google it, and I don't know, everywhere you go, you will find other people's decisions on who she was. But on her autobiography, you may come close to who she was. So I invite all those who are listening to please do that. And that is also a way for you to continue, if you had in the past or if you've not, to support her lineage wherever they are, whatever they may be doing today. They carry her spirit, they carry her DNA, and we are duty bound to help them survive and support. And I will end this monologue this way. Very often we are very eager to come in for commemoration, to cry, to sympathize, to the end of a story, to some end, not the end. There is never a the end, but to some ending of a story. But we often fail to see that the same story is being repeated all around us. And right now, as I receive the news of ASSATA Shakur's transitioning, my mind went immediately to Natalie Yamb. These two women are powered by the same spirit. And Natalie is doing the type of things that ASSATA used to do. Speak up for the truth, stand up for justice, speak out against injustice. And Natalie has been virtually murdered. When a woman who's never been seen with a weapon in her hand, does not have an army, does not have a nation, does not have a government, not a nation, a government, and just speaks what she knows to be true, and that 27 Euro Christian nations meet to decide to virtually kill her. Because when 27 countries stop all your activities, forbid you to find yourself even 10,000 feet above their geography, block all your credit cards, block all your bank accounts, And interesting enough, they never tell us what they do with the money we have when they decide to block our money. Who uses it? But in any case, so what they did to Natalie Young is virtual murder. And I have not seen us being very outraged about it. But if tomorrow we were to say Natalie is dead, many of you will come for the sympathy, for the flower, for the crying. But that's not the way of life. Life demands that we stand up when the threat is there. What are we going to do? Where is our underground railroad, like Sojourner Truth? When our people were enslaved, Sojourner Truth created the Underground Railroad to go and take her life and go get our people and bring them where she felt they were safer. Where is our railroad today? Where is our underground or above the sky plain road or submarine situation? We must think in terms of protecting those who stand up in the forefront for us and not wait for whatever the devil may do to them. So, ASSATA transitions. Natalie is alive. I hope you will know. You will figure out how you will support her in surviving virtual death. Thank you.
Very much, Professor. And
I'm still trying to find my, I think I'm
it's
gonna just, if I can go out, I can't see anything. I don't see any.
it is. I just don't know how I can help here. Do
Okay,
you want to leave? Do you want to
that's
leave?
what I want to try to do, to leave and
Exit?
come back. Hmm.
All right. Okay. In the meantime, we'll be right here waiting for you. So we had the biography of ASSATA, Queen ASSATA Shakur. And apparently, even though we personally didn't know her, I never also even heard about her. Of course, I did hear just a little bit, just like we research and to find who to even speak and share their stories with us. And some time back, we landed on her name, and apparently, it was very clear that she wasn't reachable for obvious reasons, right? And until 2 days ago, when the internet shut down, because everywhere, none of you would tell me you didn't see all on our news feeds, on our social media space. She is literally everywhere on BBC, on CNN. And like Professor is saying, most of us, even in the villages, people say, man die, man gain. There's some people out of others' sorrow or pity or situation, they take advantage over it. And so sometimes when you are on the spotlight, you just don't know whether it is sympathy, empathy, or celebration. So when I saw and I read, and exactly like how Professor Queen Mother Bayyinah is teaching us, and then I see the type of news, big ones that are occurring, how. And so the question is very clear. Are you not celebrating the way we're celebrating in honoring that life, but you're celebrating like finally? And it's not just only about the spotlight out there. It happens even among us, like even in our own African communities, and we do celebrate even people we consider they are our foes or what we so call our enemies, even when we're still physically present. So I think it resonates a lot, and I hope Mama Bello could really find what she's looking for so she could be able to take us further, because we still had to continue now the significance. Professor Bayyinah, did you find it?
Here we are.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Right. So when a frontliner falls, no matter how, it doesn't matter how, what is important is those of us who are behind. What are we going to do? How are we going to identify other frontliners that we must support, that we must protect, that we must help to escape? What are we going to do? That's the kind of planning that we need to do. But yes, we need to first learn about the frontliner that is no longer there. So imagine yourself in your 20s having to face everything she had to face. In your 30s, from what we gathered as information, she had one relationship, one special relationship, and that's the father of her child. And then both of them end up being sentenced to jail. And though she managed to escape, but did she escape with her child? No. What happened to her child? What did that system do to that child? How much whitemailing did she have to face? Because you know how they work. I want to get you. I can't get you, but I have your 5-year-old. I have your 10-year-old. What will I be telling you as to what I do or can do to your child if you don't return to me so I can torture you? We too often look at these things on a very superficial level. We also have to send our sympathies and our thanks to the Cuban nation that welcomed her. Many would be afraid to even have her, but they were brave enough to accept her and protect her. Because once it was known that she was there, do you think her enemies just stopped? They did not try to kill or grab her again. We must be very careful. If we don't study from the ones who've gone before us, then the same thing will be repeated against us, and we will be just as unprepared as the ones before. Everything that happens before you is a lesson for you. And you must use that. The more you understand everything she went through, the more you can prepare, the better you can prepare yourself for anything that might happen to you or your cousin or somebody that you admire. We are living in I'm looking octopus war. You know the octopus, right? It is an animal that has 8 heads or more. So if you cut one head, then the other will bite you from the other. You attack this arm and the other one will grab you. So that's the war that us as Black family we are living in right now. And if we're unaware of it, we are being attacked culturally, we are being attacked financially, we're being attacked psychologically, we're being attacked militarily, we're being attacked in every way, shape, or form. That octopus war is going on. And we think we're living in la la land. Our sister had to spend 45 years. Yeah, she ran away from prison, but she spent 45 years in hiding, probably unable to even send a little note to her child or a family member and say, "Hi, I'm okay." I, I believe I've read somewhere some years back Tupac Shakur, the um, the singer, the no, not singer. What do they say?
Yeah,
Okay,
the
a
hip
very
hop singer.
yes. Okay, uh, is a member of her family.
Of course, when I saw the name, that was the first thing that came to my mind. Of course, some sources are saying she's the godmother, so we don't know whether godmother spiritually that inherited her name or a bloodline in the family. But yes, of course, that
But
information is circulating.
but the thing we can also we have to consider, he was assassinated. How many when Dessalines was assassinated, the first thing that Empress Felicite did, the first decision she took, he had young children by other women. She went to these women and asked all these women to change the name of the children to protect them. So then I try to think back, okay, Dessalines, that's 200 and something years back. When Lumumba was assassinated, what happened to his children? When anyone we want to look at, we must look at what happened to the children. How come we don't have a situation where we have Malcolm and then we have the children of Malcolm and then the grandchildren of Malcolm doing different things that we are proud of? We must question all that. And it is at the time of that one of us transition that we must look at all of these things. Many times, when someone is physically or otherwise assassinated, the children are at risk. And it makes no difference how young they are.
Mhm.
I was saddened when I saw, whatever number of years later, some ceremony in Belgium where a daughter of Malcolm X, no, I'm sorry, of Lumumba, was accepting a tooth of the father from the Belgium government as restitution of whatever. And she made some wonderful speech saying thank you to them. It's sad. What happened to this person? It was a little girl when this happened to her father. What did they do to her mind that she could stand up and publicly say thank you for giving me my father's tooth in a huge coffin? We have to look, we have to analyze serious things. Okay. So, ASSATA, a young woman who put her life on the line for to fight against injustice, to fight against systemic racism, to stand up for her people. I've never seen a picture of her with a weapon, and I've often heard her say that she does not like weapon. So her weapon is right here, her mouth. She says what she feels should be said. But yet she's accused and she's charged life imprisonment. And she continues to fight by getting out of that jailhouse, finding a way out of the jail country, and finding some sort of a free life in Cuba. So, what is next for us? What do we do for our sister? Calling out her name always give those with no bodies more vitality. Lighting for them, remembering them, talking about them gives them more vitality in the realm that they are in. And personally, I never use this rest in peace business. Our ancestors cannot rest in peace. The battle is not over. So I'm not going to ask them to rest in peace when I need their help to carry on. So, how are we going to be in tighter communication with them so they can be in closer communication with us so we can be better armed, better prepared to face what we're facing today. We have to keep our spirits up. We cannot boo-hoo and cry. In some situations, our people had to, on the battlefield, bury the dead, take their weapons and clothing, and bury them and continue. So, if our mind isn't straight, if we don't keep our mind sharp, our intentions clear, our evaluation of the situation that we are in, focus, we're not going to be able to take the right decisions and bring the next generation to victory. Because we have to, they will only have that which we leave behind for them to continue. So we have to leave them sharp in weapons, good instructions, good information, so they can carry on. I don't know if you have any questions. So, we're not going to have a class. We're having a conversation, I believe.
Yes, it's a conversation. You wrote the 7 principles of voodoo, and do you want to tell us about? I mean, the purpose of coming to read it, because I think voodoo answers a lot of questions as to even what our culture, just like you say, how do we honor the departed? How do we accompany them lifelong as much as we live?
Mhm.
And what are some of the things that I did? I just remembered this evening before coming to the show that I had a bath with all the oils and the leaves that you taught me and the salt, and to remember and to call her. And all those have gone. Baba Hero, whom we're still also going to talk about him in the coming days. And to remember, just like in this month, everything that is just transiting from our own space and even from the global space that still consensus. So that's the way I did. And I think there's just a lot of essence of how do we deal, because we're not used to, like you said, we do it probably thinking we do the best, cry our lungs out, wail, wear some sackcloth and some black stuff, and then celebrate, and then it's gone. It's like, okay, we bury and life must go on. And even after this, after life, there's after death, there's life, and let's just go and live. And then I just hate some of this. And life is short, so let me just live my life because life is so short. And as Pan Africans, as true Africans with our culture, what does voodoo actually teaches us about departures?
Well, first of all, the expression, literally what we say is that he traveled or she traveled to the land where you wear no hat.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not an ending for us. Okay. It's a continuation. Okay. A few months or whatever, maybe a year or whatever ago, you and I were together in Douala.
Yes.
Uh, and then I departed. I traveled. So today we are not seeing each other the way we saw each other during those weeks, right? So it's viewed the same way.
Mhm.
Life, we do not have a mental structure where eternal life is for some people and then other people have a small piece of life or whatever. It's one life. And even in the Monday Charter, Sundiata Keita mentioned it. He
Mhm.
said, why life is one life. No one is older or younger than the other one. It's just one life. So Voodoo views things the same way. We have just one life. And as a one life, when we are together, we are two expressions of the same life. And when we have distance between the two of us, we are still two expressions of the
Mhm.
same life. Except that I may be someplace where they say, okay, right now it's nighttime, and you someplace where they're saying it's daytime. You someplace where the sun is shining. I'm someplace where the snow is pouring down. So, but these are different, all of that is different expression of life.
Mhm.
So when one transition, one of the most beautiful to me funeral I went to was a Vodou funeral in Gonaive. And when they begin, the first thing they ask for is who will receive this this life that is crossing. And then the officiant will stand up and start saying the parent's name, the grandparent's name, the great grandparent's name, the great 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 grandparent. They will name all of those in that person's family who's been gone. And so it made me realize that probably those in Voodoo in Haiti who respect the tradition are only people who will know their lineage properly. Other people are just living, oh, this is just a short life. I don't know. What's your grandmother's name? I don't know. I think they're from blah, blah, blah family. So if you don't even know the grandma, let's not talk about the rest. But at the time of your funeral, the whole lineage is brought because they must come and receive you and guide you into the new realm that you're going into. So life is not over. And we can say that nature proves this to us. All right, Susan Tata loves to eat mangoes. And she sat down and she ate mangoes. And one afternoon, she ate two mangoes, three mangoes. And Susan is kind of slappy. She didn't look for a place to drop her mango seeds. She just dumped them in the yard. And when I come back 2 months later, I saw all these little trees growing up here. I said, "Oh, well, you planted some." No, I didn't plant anything. Aha. So it is the mango seeds that you dropped that are coming up here. So you see, when we ate the mango, we kill it. When we dump the seed on the ground, we discarded it, right? But nature covered it with dust. Rain brought it some humidity, the sun gave it some light, and then a new life, a new mango life arose.
Mm.
And that is a fact of life. So Susan also reproduces herself in her children. So the new Susan is the new Susans are with her while she is. And then when she transitioned, they continue Susan's life. It's just one life. And Susan just continued grandma and great grandma and great 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 grandma's life. The life we have is not even our own, it's theirs that they transmitted to us in the flesh. But more important is everything they transmit to us in the heart. That never dies. All that they transmitted in the memory, that never dies. The things we do without thinking. You give me a bowl of whatever, and I put my hands and I start eating exactly like great grandma was eating. The gestures that they have transmitted to us, the choices that we make of colors, of dressing, of makeup, or whatever. So, all of that are continuation of life, various
Okay.
expressions.
I share.
Okay? So, life never ends, life is eternal. And the various laws or principles of life guide us into different areas of functioning. Okay?
Mm.
When we look at, for example, the law or principle that we call Ezili Freda Daome, already her name told you a lot of things. Ezili Freda
Easily
Daome.
tanto.
Yes. Ezili Freda Daome already told you, hey, that's where I'm from.
Mm.
That's where my roots are. Okay? Danto doesn't tell us about her roots. Yeah. Danto is the fierce warrior that has the ability to take on anything if her nation or her children are threatened. She doesn't play with people. She's all about discipline and rigor. And there is nothing that's too heavy for her to carry. Okay? So, why do I need to know that? I need to know that when I'm moving a table here, I need to move this table from here to there. And I say, oh my goodness, I can't move it. Then when I say that, then I have to say to Bayyinah, Bayyinah, something's wrong with you. Where is your Danta in you?
Yes.
If you can't move this, you got a problem, child. You need to practice your Danta more and develop more of your physical, muscular abilities. Okay? So you see, our spirituality is never away from our reality.
Mm. Our spirituality is never away from our reality. Quotation, Professor Bayyinah.
So When we are learning the 7 laws or principles of voodoo, we're learning how to handle our lives better.
Mm.
What principle do I need to apply in this situation?
Mm.
Okay. If I'm going to deal with things in a Dantor way, then I need to practice exercise, develop my muscles, walk, do different things that will build up my strength. Because you can't be a Dantor with no strength. But if I choose to cultivate more my Freda capacities, then I'll do more meditation and I will learn more how to make things happen without my moving. Because I do have both in me. I don't always have to fight. I can win some battles without even raising a finger.
Say it. Ooh.
But if
More.
I ignore that I have this in me, okay. In recently we had a book signing in Atlanta, and so we talked about the 7 laws and whatnot. And when we were leaving the place, there was a young man holding the door for the rest of us to go through. And so I asked him, "So, which law are you operating on right now?" And says, "No, I'm just holding the door." I said, "Well, if you're just holding the door, you're operating on a principle."
Yes.
And somebody else said, "He's being a legba. He's opening the way for us to go."
Yes.
Yes, as simple as that. It's in this situation, if we are locked into a room, we need a legba to create an opening for us to go out. So each one of us need to look inside of himself, herself, and see, well, am I the legba of that moment? Do I have the creativity that is necessary to figure out how to get everybody out of here, out of this danger, away from this danger? So that's what the principles are about. Understanding that when you say law, it's not about spooky, whatever. You're talking about principles of life. And principles, once you know them, you can apply them in whatever you're doing, wherever you are. And if we break it down historically, I'm sure many of you have heard of a name, a body, someone called Toussaint Louverture.
Mm.
So if we break down that name, Toussaint means what? All saints. Louverture means the opening. So, principle was this guy operating under? He was basically the Legba in the revolution. He opened the way, created the road for the revolution to happen. Without his work, Dessalines would have no way to go. So I don't have to pick between Dessalines and Toussaint. I have to understand that each in his time, in his moment, fulfilled his mission and have to respect them both for what they did for us. Legba did the opening, and the powerhouse Ogu came in and eliminated all obstacles, period.
Professor, may I ask a question?
Oh, please.
Because the 7 laws or the 7 principles or the 7 guidelines, we talking about it in this present moment when a life transited is also opening the door to our freedom and our liberation by giving us these tools that we never had. So our fight was more in a different space and different tools at all different energies, but we are rounding up a circle that you've always taught us, and we're in the circle of balance and knowledge. Would you say that this book, we call it a book, I don't know whether it's a book, that this guidelines, these commandments, these rules, this backup, this what we can refer to if we were Christians to say the Bible of life, of the new beginning, on how we can win or overcome without even have to go through the struggles that we were. How would you want to put it in terms of timing, in terms of like the timing right now, and the gift that you are being put, because we never, honestly speaking, truth, we never had an orientation into our spirituality. We never had even something that we could hold on to, except other people do know that, but I'm speaking in our, even in culturally guidelines, something that we can pass on, something that I can recite, something that I can know. A principle once tells me this, principle once navigate me and take me through this a situation. We have never had it, not only through fighting injustice outside of us, but even injustice within us, family wise, every single thing in a community. Professor, what is it that actually came? What is it that dawned on you and gave you what we call this legacy that we're going to, and how are you going to unveil it to us? Like, I'm still really curious. I just saw only the cover and stuff. I still just cannot even imagine what is inside. What a gift and what a time.
As I listened to you, two things came to mind. One is a cousin of mine who's in the Nevada, who's a staunch Christian, and he received the book and read it. Then he called me back and says, "Well, you sent me the book 3 months ago. I didn't look at it because I'm Christian and blah 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 blah." And then finally I said, "Well, you can't be afraid of a book. Just read the book, and then you'll see all the nonsense in it." And so I read the book. After reading it first time, and then I get to the end, and then there's a page that says, "What are your thoughts? What are your questions?" Write down there's a blank page for you to put down your thoughts and evaluate the book. I said, "Whoa, I didn't read it correctly. Let me go back." I read it a second time and a third time. And then I said, "Wow, this is a Bible. You wrote a Bible." I said, "Oh." I said, "Okay, if you say so." But the thing is, to him, that's the way, him with a Christian mind, right? And it says, I look for things to reject, to say, "No, this is not true. That is not correct. That cannot be." I couldn't find them. The other reaction was a young lady, I'm told, in IT, who was reading the book. And she said to the person who gave her the book, "Well, this thing is not a book. It's not a real book. It's like your grandma talking in your ears, reminding you what to do." So I think, to me, that second to me was a fabulous, that's my best compliment. That this is not a book. It's just some grandma talking in your ears. So I hope those who will read it will feel that way. Because if there's one thing in spite of the fact that I spent all my life teaching, I do not like the way things are done in academia. And it's all about programming and imposing ideas. You have practically no room for your own thoughts. See? Whereas, and that's why to me, it was so important that they gave me the term principles to understand. Oh, hi, Felicia. uh, so they gave me the term principle because a principle is a law that you can take the principle of electricity. Felicia takes it and she makes refrigerator from it. And Tata takes it and she makes us a special cooking dish, a cooking thing with it. She brings heat out of it. Bayyinah takes it and then she brings light. But each one of us can take the same principles and use it to do what we need to do. There is no, this is right, this is wrong, you must not, you will, if you do this, you'll go to hell. There isn't. There's no such thing in voodoo. Okay? You are, again, we can go back, it's just precisely because it's one life. So if we are one life, life is one. How can Tata be judging what I do? And she decided, oh, no, Bayyinah, you did this, we're going to send you to hell. You're going to burn forever. No, it cannot be. We all in this one life. And what is important is not what you do, but what is the purpose that you do what you do? Why do you do what you do? Let's imagine a minute. Paul is this person who's a great, he can read the future, he can see things way before they happen. And somebody had a baby and they call on Paul to see the future of this child. And Paul says, well, this boy is going to be, he's going to do well in school. He's going to be in the military. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And when he's 30, he'll be at the head of government. And by the time he's 40, he's going to go to war and slaughter 10 million people. So, are you going to be angry at Paul for saying this about this 3-month-old baby, that he's reading what this child can do? Or are you going to say, to protect the 20 million people that he would kill at 40, we're going to need to take a decision on this child? That's what we mean when we say about purpose. What's the purpose of what you do? That's why we cannot do things purposelessness. Oh yeah, I met this guy and he looks so good, so I jumped up in bed with him. That's dangerous activity. You can't even have a good reason for it, At least a spy would say, I went to bed with this guy because I wanted to get information. She has a purpose. Or this other person says, I went to bed with this guy because I wanted to have his money. But you just jumped in for no particular reason? Come on.
That's foolishness, really.
That's foolishness. And you know all the energy exchange that happens when you're doing this thing here? Do you know what this guy is sending on you? Do you know what he's taking from you? And after that relationship, you lose your job, this, that, and the other thing. Is that he didn't do anything. He didn't have to. But life is set up, the principles of life are structured in such a way that when you do this and that, this happens. Rain is a principle. Well, it's going through our planet. Waters of all the rivers and all the, it's going on. The sun comes out. She beams out her heat. The heat pulls up vapor from the waters, bring it up. The clouds or whatever it is created by the vapors get into the currents, the various currents, different temperature, different weight. And when the weight and the currents are right, you get rain. It's a principle. It's not magic. Some people know how to use that principle. Some of our farmers know how to use the principle. So then, Tata, Bayyinah, and Jack, they have their land, their farming lands next to each other. And then we come on Tuesday, we see the rain falling on his land, nothing on ours. We come on Friday, he's got the rain and we don't have none. Okay, we're gonna accuse him of what? Doing magic, doing whatever.
Witchcraft.
Which
Doing
right.
doing seeding, cloud seeding.
Right. Okay. So everything in this world is knowledge. If you got the principle, you can make it happen. If you don't have the principle and you don't understand how the world works, well, you can always use force. Lying is a force. Stealing is a force.
Oh, I bet you.
So, all right, I like Susan Tata's scarf. I want to steal it. Because Bayyinah does not have the creativity to figure out how to have a beautiful scarf of her own. So she wants to steal what is the easy thing, steal what she's got. And she's just using force. She has no power. And as we've said many times before, in this world, there are no government that have power. All of them are forceful governments. And if you don't have power, you don't have knowledge. So you can only use lies, tactics, threats to get your way. If you don't do this, I'm going to drop the bomb on you. That's not power. That's force. We must not confuse things. Spirituality teach you how to become powerful.
On point. I don't know who can say it much better. I just don't know how to even pretend to not like. Truth to power. That's the knowledge.
Yes. Okay.
When are we going to get the 7 law? Professor Bayyinah, that one, everyone is going to be on your neck for it because that's the book that is going to officially launch the Pan-African Daily TV Book Club.
Oh, well, we're going to have to figure out a way because, these days, posting is really ridiculous. Even within the United States, sending books from one place to the other is like a mad thing. So I've gone through so many nonsense with sending books outside that I don't do that anymore. I do not promise anyone that I will send them or mail them. Okay. Now we need to create an underground plain road so that when somebody's coming from your side and coming to my side, we can figure things out and ship this, send things via
the underground tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going, who is coming?
Exactly. That's what we need to figure out. Because otherwise, it's just pure nonsense. I sent a couple of books to and not even big books, to my nephew in Belgium in December. January, he's saying he didn't get it. February, I mailed another set of books to him in February. Nothing happens. In July, The books I sent in December came back to me.
Mm. I agree.
And it's not a
I
bad
agree.
address. The address is correct. Everything was correct. But
Mm.
so that's why we're not getting into involved. Because even, I'm looking at things that used to take 2 days, 4 days within the US is now you in for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Professor, is there a possibility that we're going to get it like an ebook or a soft copy? I'm just only asking.
We are talking about it. We're working on it. We're
Uh,
working on it. Okay. But we have to, these things are, we're looking into different things because we have to make the book available. But it's we have to pay off certain debts first.
no problem. I think we all know that this is our foundation, and we do all know that, like you said, I think the last show that I had with Professor James, he said, freedom is personal, rightly, from inner space. And for us to get that access, I think people would have to work to get it. So I think this is one of the first projects from Fondation Felicite, but in honor to Professor Bayyinah to have actually crafted. We have a lot of pieces on voodoo and stuff like that, but to have had the principles, we have information, we have not just even educational information, we have how it looks like or tools, but we've never had principles. And if we look even into the Chinese culture, they have the principles of even their spirituality, and these are laws and guidelines. And for me, I see a piece like this, like not just only, but putting it even into the curriculum on the continent and even in our schools and everything. And I just think it's going to work. This is something we
Yeah,
have to. Felicia
working
is
on the
here.
workbook as well.
Yes, Felicia is here. Betty is here. Every other person that is here. John is here. Cheryl is here. Every other, the hundreds of people that are watching you right now. I think at this time, in honor to understand what we are doing here tonight, celebrating a legacy of a queen warrior, I can imagine if she had had the principles of voodoo,
Right?
what would have happened?
She probably had them. But what this woman realized, whether she called it that or not, but she was operating on high principles. That's for sure.
I am very certain we're going to, if you come up with a budget of how we have to make sure that we realize this book and to support it, or even to pay up right up the all the debts or everything. We're living in a very fruitful time, even though some people say we're living in difficult times. But when you have the knowledge, when you've tested of the knowledge of self, the fruits from Bayyinah Bello, you always live in abundance. And even as they go down, we go up. So
True.
I think all of us here are going to get 2, 3 jobs and a purposeful projects that we know, yes, I can go clean, but this is where I'm going to. So I think, Professor, we would be so honored for the first time again on Pan African Daily to get a project that we could all rally behind and put our energy, because that's our Bible of life. Let me put it that way, like your brother would say. That's the wisdom of the freedom of the liberation of the spirit. How we tactfully would win, like without even a mouth. Sometimes I think, like, there's a tribe, they just put leaves in their mouth when the elders don't go, and they don't say anything. You only look at them, all these ceremonies. But there's one thing that I picked that you said, Professor, when you said, when elders transit, even like in our villages, when the royals, great people, When they transit, never would you hear somebody said, like the chief or the queen, they just said he traveled or she traveled. There's no noise. You just see the ceremonies, the rituals that would be performed to accompany him and also to open. That's why I'm so keen on the seven principles, because it's just the same thing. It's the accompaniment and it's the open door to every other thing that has to be. So, Professor, we're looking forward. Please give us the opportunity to be a part of this project.
Yes, I will. In a short time, I will send you the details. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. While we're on the subject, colors are very eloquent speakers,
Mm,
and different cultures perceive colors in different ways. And even the same culture will redefine colors on what, depending on what they're doing. Example, I'm wearing purple. Now, if somebody's looking at it from a Christian point of view, they will say I'm wearing a funeral color because the church, that's the original funeral color for the church, the Catholic Church.
mm,
On Good Friday and all these other sad whatever days they have, everything is purple in the church. Now, they did not switch from purple to black until they started slavery.
mm,
So they turned black into the funeral color
mm,
around the 16th, 17th century. But till today, still many churches you will see on Friday, they'll still have the purple. Now, prior to change to switching to from purple to black, black used to be the uniform of doctors, of judges in Europe, the Euro Christians. Black is the color of power. Black is the color of knowledge. And even until very, very recently, all presidents had to have a black car. President did not ride in blue or white or whatever. It's the black car. And in fact, in some countries, I remember when I first moved to Togo, in Togo, everybody was shocked because I had a little black car. And everybody was like, only the president can, but my little car was so little, they didn't pay me no mind. But everyone made a comment about the fact that it was black because black is presidential, okay, for a car. So what do you wear for a gala, for an occasion of blah, 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 blah? It's black because black is the color of power, of importance, of wealth, of this, that, and the other. Now, since the 16th, 17th century, they started switching and making black a negative color.
mm,
They tried and failed to make white the color to replace black, but it just didn't stick. They tried it, but it did not stick. Now, for us in our various in our culture on the continent, white is the color of death.
mm,
Generally, as soon as someone dies, you'll take white powder and put all over their face,
mm,
wrap them in a piece of white cloth.
mm,
And that's, white would be. We didn't have a color, a funeral like the parents, the family of the dead would wear. We usually would have something similar that we all wore, but it didn't have to be a particular color very
mm.
often. Okay, but the person who transitioned had to be dressed in white, and everything about this person was all about white. Purple is the color of the other world, the invisible world. So I dress to receive my sister. Gold is the color of abundant life. So whenever we want to project, to encourage, to attract abundance, gold, but never in a dress. You wear gold, what you call like a scarf or the shoes or jewelry. You put it in different, but you never just cover yourself in gold. And I think when I think back of a film, the film on Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor, when Cleopatra came to Rome, she was dressed all in gold.
Yes.
And to me, my analysis, if that was, I don't know how historically true that was, okay? But my analysis is part of why things went wrong for her is the excessive gold that she wore. Had she worn any color she wanted or whatever it was, is her most, we have colors that are better for us than, each one of us have a color that is our color. So if you're wearing your color and then you add a gold scarf or a gold purse, a gold shoes, and that works well for you to attract whatever. But wearing all gold or all red, there are colors that do not tolerate that there'd be, anything, it's excessive.
Mm.
So it's good too much. So yeah, so black, depending on what time, is perceived as funeral color. But for the longest time and throughout the world, it's the color of power. Mao bring back the Chinese to wearing black to build up, as he was trying to build up out, their sovereignty and their power thing and whatnot. So a lot of different places we can look at it and see that people are using, while they're telling us black is all this negativity. And as you noticed, I said, when you're in trouble and somebody has your child, they white male you. I decide what my mouth says. I do not repeat what people say.
Wow. So, that's the one thing about the power of mother, or like we say, the modern mind of teaching and gathering and paying attention to details. So you see, even colors don't just appear, colors have meaning, colors have intentions, color also compete and create some other energy. And
Mhm.
imagine being demonized for all your life, and that black was, a something of evil. And so you see these same images repeating themselves. I have a community in what do they call it, in Bangladesh. It's a black community,
Mhm.
origins out there.
Mhm.
And this community, they're celebrating what they call the Dunga Punja festival tomorrow.
Mhm.
And this family is always sending me their flyer and to always ask me to remember them or to share it also with our audience out here, because they follow us, they watch us on Pan African Daily. And even
Mhm.
one of the son is the one doing, just voluntarily doing flyers for us and stuff. So,
Mhm.
but something caught my attention on the flyer. Like tomorrow, they're celebrating that because it's a festival where they honor their queen goddess. And so, but that queen goddess is like the octopus, because you talked about the octopus,
Mhm.
Professor Bayyinah, and now that image just came out on me. I'm just sorry, I didn't load the flyer here. I would have showed you because everything is just adding up to what you're saying. I received the flyer just a couple of minutes before I came to the show.
Mm-hmm.
That queen goddess has this
Mm-hmm.
element, so many heads,
Mm-hmm.
and then all this girl child or youth are wearing these costumes tomorrow and putting up all this, like actually that's what they worship. For them, that fest and honoring that queen mother, that queen in that element
Mm-hmm.
is something of so much power. But
Mm-hmm.
then they have an element in it that is projected black. And in that element, this queen is always fighting on that. So when he sent me the flyer and I circled it, I said, what is the meaning of this? What does this represent? It's
Mm-hmm.
always subdued in every format. Then he
Mm-hmm.
sent me the link on Wikipedia. And it
Mm-hmm.
still goes into the subconsciousness of that thing because it's black, it's evil, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it represents. But for them, they define it. These are two forces that are fighting each other. And so the Queen Mother is always the reign supreme. But then the fact that that element is in color to that. You understand
Yes.
how color, like you're talking about color. But if we are not specific or we don't even see it and we don't even realize, me, I'm very, very particular in those details. Immediately he sent it to me. It was so small. You would not even notice it, but my eyes just went straight to it. And I just circled like, what is the meaning of this?
Mm-hmm. No, it's first of all we have to understand colors is vibrations and frequencies.
Mhm.
Okay, you put a color, a red fridge, let's say, in your house, it will affect the whole house because that color is, it's a red. Why do they choose that? They always give us, like most of these items in our kitchen is white. It's their choice, and they are making a, they know what they're doing in doing that. But when you know the importance of what you need for yourself, then you make different choices. So, anything, choosing the color of a car. Certain cars will have more accidents than others. Certain cars will total, certain color cars will total more easily or more often than others. There is this, we live in a world that is intentionally programmed. So when we go with intention less, we put ourselves in danger.
Absolutely.
Okay. So when you decide you're going to do something, then decide all the way. Get specific with what you want and how you want it and what color. And color is vital. We must, you see, for example, any flyer at the Fondation Félicité, we do not allow white over any color. Okay, because they have this whole thing. They tried hard to switch to make paper black and white ink. It just has not worked. But today, with the virtual stuff, they're able to do it more often, and they are. But we have to decide, no, you always want your darkest on top of.
It's it is. I like when I have my people in the United States on it, and when they identify my accent, you know, my African accent. Shout out to Jamilax. Of
Mhm,
course, it is, and I'm really particular and specific about this thing. I think there's a whole lot of topic, Professor Bayyinah, because you actually really also taught me about colors. And in a very subtle way, something that I truly did not, of course, pay attention. But if we look at the whole nature, why is nature not giving us a red earth or a red, like, and even to understand where the power is, why is the soil not white? I used to say it. Why is it brown or black? I've never seen earth that is, purple or white or this. So strategically, even the elements that we dwell with actually give us what we really need, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely. The greatest teacher is the universe, and the greatest book is nature. Anything we want to know, if we sit out there under a tree in open space within vegetation, we will know it. We do not need a book. And a book has to be prepared in such a way that it does not take the information and dye it. It doesn't become the coffin of the information. Yeah? You have to work your book. Actually, to go back to Seven Lois, I did the presentation in 1993, the first time. And my daughter started insisting in 2020, that I turn it into a book. I think till today, that video is still out there, Seven Lois of Voodoo by Bayyinah. And so she said, oh, we could just take the tape and get somebody to transliterate and get it on paper, and then you put out the book. So, okay. But after I got the paper, I got the text on, I realized, no, this is not a book. That's a talk.
It's a virtual voice.
Exactly. So then I started working on this thing. And then, it was 30 years. My knowledge of everything is not what it was 30 years ago. Experience, experimentation, everything that happened, So then it took all 30 plus years for the conference of 1993-94 to become a book in 2025. That's about 35 years. So we have to, that's another thing that's important for us. A certain part of the population sees everything, wants everything now, quick, fast. But that's not the best thing for us. We want what is right. And everything we can do that is more or less correct will take time, because we have to undo all the wrong that is integrated in the right. So it takes time to work things out. So I was blessed. I was given the grace to put this information out. And they're very systematic about it. And now the workbook has to also come out. So that it's really, looking at it, and it is not principles of voodoo, IT. It's not limited like that, because again, one life, one world, one cosmos. The principles are the same on Mars as they are on Earth, with whatever variations, climatic variations, but the principles are the same. And even when we tend to want to sometimes close ourselves, this is Haiti, this is this island, this is Cuba, this is Jamaica. It's not, an island is an island. Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, all of them are islands and they have principles of islands functioning. Okay. People on islands speaks louder than people on the continent. Period.
Oh, come on, Professor.
It's true. I think from the island, we want to speak for the next island to hear us. We
But
speak
they got it.
loud.
Where did they get it from? From Africa. Look at us crossing the road. And woo-hoo, hey, hey. And it, you know.
We are loud, like that. So everything, people who live by the sea, no matter where, whether it's Asia, Africa, or they will have a whole bunch of stuff in common because they are living by the sea. People living on top of the mountain have in common living on top of the mountain. People living on a certain latitude of our planet will have all of that in common.
Mm. Hear what your baby is saying. Oh, motherless daughter.
Yes,
Jamila, you're never motherless,
that's
okay?
right. You're not
Mm,
motherless, my dear.
mm,
You have all the mothers that you have ignored.
yes. Or you're discovering right now.
Okay. So start looking at them and claiming them. Okay. That's is act of fact. Earth is our mom. Okay. The
Mm,
earth gives us everything. The water we drink, the food we eat, the clothing we're wearing, everything comes from earth. That's the number one mama here. Okay.
Mother Earth.
If we understand that, then you're not going to go through the I am motherless and I'm depressed because nobody, blah, blah, blah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You're never alone. You're part of the one life. And you can connect anywhere. See, we are amazed by the www. What is it? The worldwide, what's it? Something, the World Wide Web. Okay, www. Yeah. We
Mhm.
have it all the time, but we don't think of what they mean when they say it, right? The World Wide Web. Well, in Vodou, we sing, get des ariens, woy, woy, get des ariens. Get des ariens, woy, woy, get des ariens, woy, woy, get des ariens. Get des ariens, yo fait complot pour yo tuer moi, woy, woy, get des ariens.
Ooh, come on. You're going to
Get
teach us that.
is the Anansi
Mhm.
of Haiti. It's the spider who creates the web that holds the world together.
Mm.
So, this World Wide Web, we invented that tons of years, millenniums ago. And the ability to communicate at distance, we've had this thing down pat. That's tons of years ago. But yet, this man comes and say he takes that principle, he works it in little plastics and stuff, and then we are fascinated by the www. We don't know, we don't notice that we invented. Okay. How many times a girl is sick in the village, the mother is in a different country, and the mother can go to anyone wherever she is. They identify the child is sick, what is the sickness, and what is the medicine. And we could treat that person without having to have the person come to us. That's the web communication that we use. We had something even more specific. In Haiti, when the child is born, parents used to plant the placenta planted on a tree. Okay.
We do it today in Africa,
All
every day.
right. We do it less.
Under the bottom of a plantain.
Okay. So we plant, it's the different tree for a boy, different tree for a girl. All right. So you plant the placenta there. But why? What's the purpose? That's the thing. Once you don't know why, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. So right now, Bayyinah is sick. Bayyinah can call her cousin, go to my pied capable, my capable tree. That's what it's called. Here's what I have. I'm vomiting. I have this, that, and the other. So they'll go. She'll see somebody who say, "Oh, she needs this and that medicine." They will make the medicine. They'll go pour it on the tree, and Bayyinah will feel good. So it's communication at distance has always existed for us. Except when we do it, somebody might call it whatever they want to call it. But when they do it, we say, "Oh, that's marvelous." We clap for them. And they usually have a very wicked purpose attached to what they do. But we're blind to it most of the time. So, anyway, our beloved sister, ASSATA Olukbala Shakur, she chose herself her names. ASSATA means the one who struggles. Olukbala, who loves the people. Shakur, who is thankful. She put herself on the line and she took the names to tell us, here is where I stand, this is what I'm going to do. And she did it all the way until she transitioned. So we hope that all those who are listening will write her name. If you feel frightened, afraid, call out her name 7 times, 21 times. Build up your strength with her first name, ASSATA. If you find yourself talking ill of your own people too often, then repeat Olukbala 7 times, 14 times, 21 times. Each time you find yourself guilty of speaking ill of your own folks. And Shakur is the one who's thankful in Arabic. And you know, thankfulness opens every door, especially the doors of abundance.
Yes. Yes.
So you see, everything about everyone, when you're trying to learn of someone or when you hear someone has transitioned and you become interested, take the time to really learn. I was indignant that so many texts that I came across would just say, you know, well, she was a terrorist, she was a blah, 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 all kind of nonsense. No, we cannot speak that way. We cannot even repeat these under the pretext of quoting. No. You know, she was a warrior. She was fighting for justice. She was combating racism by any means necessary. And remember, we mentioned earlier, Ezili Dantor is always armed. Ezili Freda is also a warrior, but she uses her ability to do things without gesture, without movement. She used her mind power to get things done. So we have a choice. And from the way I see this sister, ASSATA, it seems to me she was not much of a dantor because she said she didn't like weapons. But yet, she got a lot of work done. So she must have used this other weapon, the intention power, the mind, heart power, which we are often not educated about. And therefore, if we don't know about it, we can't use it. We think the only, if you don't have a gun or a knife, then you're not a warrior. No, there are many ways of being a warrior. In fact, in our tradition, some warriors only sing their wars. Example, Nina Simone.
Felicia, this one too is one of it. This one, Sister Felicia.
Some
I
warriors
hear.
speak their wars. So everything is a weapon if you know how to use it. But I'll tell you, the worst of all weapons is a weapon fabricated by your enemy. Use your own. Everything that exists is a weapon. This is a glass of water. I can drink it. If the water goes the wrong way, it can kill me. Just a sip can kill me. But if I'm being attacked, that will be what I will crush the enemy's face with. This is a beautiful scarf, nicely tied. I'm being pretty.
So beautiful.
Thank you. But if
Mm.
you attack me, that will be my weapon. So none of us is motherless. None of us is powerless. None of us is weaponless. But if you set your mind properly, you'll always be able to defend yourself.
Sister Felicia, she's tagged us with her own glass of water. Drink this as my weapon. Girl, you're something. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you too so much, Professor. Thank you, Black Queen. Thank you, Queen Mother. Thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you, the carrier, the opener, the closer, the totality of up, down, and everything that is in it. We love you so much. Everyone is shouting out to you. Yes, this
Thank
video is a save for sure. Please, if you're here for the first time, just make sure you have subscribed and click on your notification because this is the time of the real stuff and it always comes in this little space. I also want to remind you that there is a brother, also Professor Bayyinah, you will know him.
you.
I don't know him, but he reached out through a contact out there in Detroit, and apparently he was in prison with Mama ASSATA. He is 71 years old, and he's gonna be our guest on Thursday. Like, he is so happy that the opportunity to to air what she knows, what he knows of her. All of them were in BLA, all adopted and locked up in everything that went with it. You know, he lives in New York. Like it's gonna be the first time, but he just the way we talked about this afternoon. I mean, like in the same light, like you've just described, really on purpose, what is coming to us. So I'd like to invite all of you that are watching me. But even before Thursday, there are just a lot of people that are signing in on Pan African Daily, how they want to share their experiences of what, even not knowing how, they have learned. And so I can imagine with the knowledge that Professor Bayyinah has even given us today, all the others that will be coming to pay that respect and that honor to her and for us is enormous. You've already seen the whole social media is shut down. ASSATA, SHAKUR, every place you open your news feed and everything, like it's literally not going on. Even the big mega, whether they're celebrating or rejoicing or whatever, at some point you are pushed to, because if you are not tagging or talking about her, you're just so irrelevant. Your platform is irrelevant. And so people just copy and tag and videos and videos and videos. And every place you open, she is there. Just another testimonial that he never goes. They don't go. They leave and they will leave and would leave again. So I really just want to thank you, Professor, for your time, for your
Thank you
teaching,
very, very much for
for your
having me.
blessings. Thank you so very much.
You to everyone who was present. And the fight goes on. We must be always prepared. Take care.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Whew. Asante sana. Karibu. Shalom. And I also want to bless you tonight for watching, not just watching, but I know a lot of you were just with your pens and paper. I really just want to give a big shout to my sister Felicia Harden of the Happy Movement, you know, the one powerful, I mean, queen, my twinnie, my twin in another, in another, in another side, the other side of me, right? I want to bless all of you. I see even Queen Mater Valencia Rodriguez, and she's watching us all the way, you know, from Panama City. Yes, all from the islands of Colombia. And I see a lot of you, Ocean Lover, Jamie Likes, all of you, Queen Cheryl, the Queen Mother here. This is, I mean, like the member. She's the queen of the Pan-African women. So if you want to become a member, please get your membership on Pan-African Daily TV. Yes, you're my twin sister. You know it. We know that. You're right. We all know that. I just want to bless all of you tonight. And we're really rounding up in 2 minutes. I just want to take this moment um, for us to thank the ones that have gone before us. And please make sure you drink your water. We used to say it, we have a slogan, drink water and mind your African business. That is our slogan on Pan African Daily. It means the cleansing and the purification of everything that was, that is, and that is to come. Now you understand. Professor Bayyinah has just decoded drink your water and mind your African business. So I'm chasing to my twin sister. I'm telling you, Felicia, I will have to post this picture. This particular one right here. This queen. This is right. This is her in her element. Sister Felicia, thank you so very much for warming our heart. Yes, drink water and mind your African business. That's our slogan on Pan African Daily since 2020. Okay. So we are looking forward to continue the legacy. And you also know that an elder also departed from our midst. Sister Felicia, I think you are the next to be on this show to tell us about the legacy of Baba Heru, because you spent all of your time with him. We don't know that elder, but from your post and everything, from anything that has to do with Kemet, as I know, from all the symbols, from the Ankh, until I even read he was called sometimes the Ankh man, right? Like he was referred to as the Ankh man. So Baba Heru also transited. And you can imagine everything that is just happening in this September. In September, we just celebrated the anniversary of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and just a lot of things that are happening in September, particularly towards the end of September. And you just saw all the things that happened at the United Nations General Assembly. You know, like every little thing is just bubbling and turning around for the good of those who actually mean well, right? So it's September at this particular time. And you know, the 24th of September was the beginning of the African calendar year, right? So all these things is not a coincidence. Those that are relocating and transiting and departing physically, but still actually are here with us. And like us still in the space, you know, will still always be here until we have the privilege to be called. So blessings to all of you. Okay. You know, Sister Maita said, blessing my city is Bogota in Colombia. Bogota in Colombia. Thank you so much for correcting us, sister. And she's right up watching us. I met this queen in Panama in 2021 when we went for the journey of, you know, mothers returning on the continent with with our Dr. Queen out there, you know. So, yes, I bless all of you tonight, and it's been a pleasure. And I know Queen ASSATA is right here with us. She's right where you are, everywhere. Before you go to bed, please make sure you drink. I mean, when I say go to bed, even when you're working, I know some of you out there, you're working, some of you, you're relaxing, and tomorrow, you know, is going to be another working day. So please remember her. I don't want to repeat the words of Queen Mother Bayyinah. This video is going to be here for our children, for our children's children, and for those of us who are busy, and even those of us that have watched the live production. Please just take time, go through it at every single time. All the productions that we're doing in this Pan-African Daily TV New Era is just out of the spirit. If you missed the last conversation with Professor James Small, who talked about the culture and the spirituality within us as the weapons of freedom to free us. So the next kind of conversations that we're talking about is powerful. Do not miss it. So thank you so very much. We see us again. Watch out for Pan-African Daily. Our guests who will be coming up, and Sister Felicia is already on the lineup. Professor James is also going to be here to share Queen ASSATA and also Baba Heru, and a lot of them that will be coming. Dr. Reverend Ninana is also signing up. And if you think you also have the spirit to just share, we don't discriminate. It must not be elders. It must not be professors. It must not be anything that your spirit just gives you to bless the community. Please contact us on our email, panafricandaily@gmail.com, or WhatsApp us. We'll plan your show. So peace be with you all. Peace and love and blessings. And we see us again very soon. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you. You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.